Hi, my name is Poka. I'm a director from Vintura, part of Cencora. Today, we are thrilled to have Dr. Jörg Schüttrumpf with us to talk about AI innovation in R&D and drug discovery and early detection of diseases.
Yeah, thank you, Poka, for having me here at the Cencora booth.
Thank you. So AI has been transforming our daily life. So doctors are using it, patients are using it, pharmaceuticals are using it. And how do you see that pharma and biotech companies are utilizing AI to really transform the drug discovery and early detection of diseases?
Yeah, so I see, of course, my function is I'm in R&D, so it's Chief Scientific Innovation Officer from Grifols, and I see that actually uh, in the R&D space, especially, there are many use cases for AI, and it starts really with early discovery, going through all phases of clinical development, and of course then also at the end at the market. And I think it really does two major things. One thing is to accelerate innovation, and there's a power of things that are possible which before were not possible at all. And the other is also on the patient level, that really you get the right medicine to the right patient. So kind of precision medicine really increases with the understanding of diseases.
Can you give us some example?
Yeah, I mean, for example, for us, AI really started with a case. We are a company which operates around 400 plasma centers worldwide, where we collect plasma from donors, and they come again and again to donate plasma. And each time the donor comes, we collect a sample. And we had this incredible it's kind of sample bank with more than 100 million samples from more than 5 million donors, which donated over 10 to 15 years. And so this was kind of, we said, okay, for R&D, this will be a gold mine, but we didn't know really what to do with it. And then AI came into play, and we suddenly could connect the samples and the donor history, basically, with real-world data. And in real-world data, if you look and you basically get a coverage of large percentage of these donors, so you see the disease history, what these donors developed or diseases they developed basically later in life. And you have samples over 10 to 15 year period. So you can, and there we started a pilot project together with the Michael J. Fox Foundation in Parkinson's. And we said, okay, let's go back, find these donors, do really deep proteomics of ones that later on in life developed Parkinson's disease. And this was a start. And like this, we saw such an incredible potential of AI and how to use it, that this basically was really the start of our whole journey into AI. And right now it's starting then to transform the whole organization, how we make decisions, how we use data. But it also, of course, in this case, generated a whole new discovery platform that we are working with.
So if I understand you correctly, that means in the future, we are not just treating disease, we can predict disease before the onset of the disease.
In our case, of course, we are looking also for biomarkers with proteomics. So we see totally new patterns in these patients, which occur years before there's a diagnosis of the disease. So in such kind of disease like Parkinson, but it's also in other kinds of diseases that develop over time, degenerative diseases, metabolic diseases. What you can see is that if you can detect so early, you can really change the course of the disease over the lifetime, either with very specific treatments or with treatments that are already there, but giving them, of course, much earlier. And it's this kind of very deep understanding of the disease, which also helps you to then see some patients will respond to a treatment, others will not. So perhaps it's even not the same disease, although it's today grouped as one disease. So you get a much better, closer understanding, and this goes, of course, then into this direction of precision medicine, the right medicine for the right person.
And in terms of, because you touched upon it already, in terms of using AI for example, for clinical trials, do you also leverage AI to de-risk the clinical trial to inform your decision making?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the other part. This came when we used especially real world data now to make informed decisions on clinical trials. What is the right patient population? How do we see inclusion, exclusion criteria? All of these things, of course, is the AI plays a big role. And the same you can now see where are the patients. Yeah, you get a data, so you even choose the right clinical sites. So it's, I think, in all these decision-making processes, the possibility to kind of use this huge amount of data that is out there and that is accessible is just incredible. And with AI, you can not only use it, but you can connect different data sources and then make sense out of it. And I think this is what really brings the innovation forward and the science forward in ways we haven't seen before.
And you actually predicted my question. So, what excites you most when you think about AI application or next generation tech in the field of R&D?
Yeah, it's of course this possibility that were not there before to getting this deep insight based on large amounts of data. I think that's really a new superpower we have as humanity to
Yeah, definitely.
use.
Yeah.
And I'm also very excited on the patients because if you see a patient that gets the right diagnosis, the right treatment, it's the same thing that on the patient side, AI helps to guide diagnosis, treatment, and really making this link from early development until really at the end where we treat a patient. So I think the quality of what we can offer will just increase amazingly over the time.
And what are the challenges to get there?
Challenges are all on the way. I think the challenges start with us, how to implement really AI into our organizations and make it happen. And in our case, I talked about this the project we have, Chronos PD, and to scale it up, then going into a new, really new, making out of a new separate platform where we can collaborate with many people is one thing. But the other big important thing is that we actually use the capabilities we built on, how we use AI, the data structure, the team, how we integrate data, and then how we can make use of it into what we do also in other fields. And I think that's the major challenge. You need some starting point, which is really important for the company or for the organization to make a change there and use this skill then to scale it up. That's one important topic. And of course, then on AI usage, you have a lot of topics. Using different data sources, for example, how do you make sure you get private information out of it? Yeah, it's really a challenge. Combining different data sources, making sure that you really have anonymized data, you protect the individual. That's a big challenge. Also, at some point, at least for me, not being a technical expert, AI is kind of a black box. So you need to understand well also the algorithm, what is behind, so you don't get a bias in one or the other direction. I think that's also a big challenge. And then, of course, at the end, it's not only us, but it's the whole field has to evolve because, for example, this data topics, privacy topics, how regulatory agencies use the data and how you can use your insights then to accelerate really the process to get a new medicine to the market. That's something, it's not only on us, it's a discussion basically in the whole ecosystem of innovation to bring this forward.
Ah, I see. And how do you integrate AI in your company strategy then?
Yeah, I think it's this kind of thinking that we said, okay, we have some pilots, but not only pilots, important topics we address first. And then with this, we build the underlying infrastructure. And this means with the infrastructure that you can basically start to integrate step by step more things into this infrastructure and having from end to end integrating AI in all of kind of the decision making processes in the ways you can monitor, for example, manufacturing processes, how you can understand really well the whole value chain, and this is something that is coming step by step. And I think what is important in the implementation is that you start with things that are really important for you so that you pull them in and then step by step getting on the other pieces. At least this is how we are going forward.
Yeah, I like your step-by-step approach.
Everybody is kind of struggling and going forward with different speeds. But I think so far this seems the way for us to work.
And you are chief scientific innovation officer at Grifols. So what keeps you awake at night?
Oh, what keeps me awake at night? I think it's on one part it's also the excitement to say, okay, we want to make a difference and bringing new medicines, new therapies to the patients. And in the way I see that our predictions usage of data works, and then to see that it really helps the patients, I think that's for me the most important part. That it keeps me awake, but also keeps me going as a motivation.
I see. And then we talk about the challenges. You said data privacy, data access. Do you see whether, for example, a consortium or a collaboration across pharmaceutical companies or even regulators altogether? So those collaborative effort is actually required to move the needle.
Absolutely, I think that's required to change the environment and changing the ecosystem, having the same understanding, and also accepting what we get out of these powerful tools. And for example, in the case in where we develop our own new discovery platform, that's also it's such a big challenge that it's not something for us alone. It's really that we reach out, partner with organizations, with private, with public organizations, to really harness the full power of AI and of this technology.
I see. And you mentioned before, say, Grifols basically sits on a rich sets of data. So you have 5 million donors, more than 100 million samples, and real world data. So you use AI to predict the early disease, the detection of disease, and also use that to manage clinical trials. Can you give us some like concrete examples? What the AI technology, for example, you are using in order for the R&D part?
So an example, of course, is when we say, okay, we take in this case Parkinson disease as our pilot, together with the Michael J. Fox Foundation, where we already have a kind of collaboration then to see, okay, what are actually the biomarkers early on that can predict the disease, and there we pull using using real world data, and this is data, of course, it's claims data, it's electronic health records, where you can go in and on one hand getting the diagnosis and link them in an anonymized way with the donor sample, or you and then you go in and really look and understand what is the trajectory of each of these donors in the health system, and then choosing the right ones to compare. And of course, you can also compare to control group, which you can, I mean, in 5 million, you can match really well and finding that they match. And then you use different omics. We at the moment focus on proteomics because there's where we get most information, but you can also use other omics to even amplify this further, and then getting of course very large data sets you can use later on.
And there are so many diseases. Why Parkinson's disease?
I think this is because we were working on neurodegenerative diseases, and then we had Michael J. Fox Foundation, and it was kind of a natural partnership. So they said, okay, we will fund you the the pilot, and this was a really great start. But of course, the technology is open to all kinds of diseases, and this is why I said it's so important then to collaborate when you see these opportunities, getting other pharma companies in, getting other large organizations in who have a special interest in some things, using the technology and the setup for all kinds of things. It's as you said, from clinical trials where you can increase the probability of success, to deep understanding of the disease, to narrowing down the patients. There's just so many possibilities what you can do, and that I think one company alone is difficult really to making having the full effect that the technology can bring.
That's why you said this is an ecosystem effort. As different stakeholders all need to play a part in it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. Is there any other topics you want to cover?
I think it's the most important topic for me is really that we all, we as Grifols, but also we as a whole company, make a difference for the patients. And this is really the thing that here with the technologies, and also, of course, there are risks and benefits, that we look at both sides. Not only we have sometimes we looking a lot of on the benefits, let's say in some parts of the world, and here in Europe, we look a lot on the risks and we forget about the benefits. And I think to find the right balance and working all on the really to making a difference there for so many people, that's for me the most important topic.
I see. And so to use AI also require the company have a capability. So how do the company needs to also to have the capability to understand AI. And I saw earlier actually in your panel session, there was a one question popping out, say, how do you feel about it for companies so rely on AI while actually so few people really understand what AI is? How do you feel about it?
So I have to say for the technology, more and more at the beginning it's very strange and only a few people really understand. I think the more you get used to it, the more you you see that it's so useful that you simply have to use it. And of course, you have to integrate some kind of quality measures to make sure that what comes out is really the right thing that comes out. So we start even looking at the data that goes in to make sure that we have a really thorough process of quality and validation of this. For example, proteomic data, we don't use one system. We try to have several different systems to generate the data. Same for example, the patient histories of what goes in. We had a manual review at the beginning of all of them, to make
All of them. Wow.
sure that the right patients go in. And of course, when you scale it, that's not possible anymore, but you set the system in the right way, and then you can control and monitor it over time.
Yeah, you use the quality data to train the algorithm so that it's more precise.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of so it's great to hear that Grifols is adopting AI and to really transform R&D. And what kind of capabilities do you see that R&D team actually should have in the future?
And what I see is that actually the team likes to work with AI, and I think especially for the efficiency gains, you have a lot of these tools. For example, writing documents, doing more let's say the work that costs the people a lot of time, but at the end, it's not something you really think, and it's a content. It's more, yeah, more laborious work, and I think people actually like that they don't have to do it. Yeah, that they don't have to write the document, but review it, and that they have time to think about what to do and not to being operational all the time. I guess this is a very important thing where people see the benefit immediately. And then, of course, on the R&D side, getting this kind of new insights and connecting the dots. That's just every time it happens, yeah, it's a light that goes on.
Yeah.
A great moment. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Jörg. Thank you for your insights and great discussion today.
Yeah, thank you, Poka. It has been a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.